Before the world called her the queen of hip-hop soul, Mary J. Blige was already bleeding for the music. Not literally, but emotionally. Because behind every note, behind every album that felt like someone reading their diary out loud, Mary was paying a price nobody else saw. Today, we're not telling the story of how she got the crown. We're telling the story of what it cost her. In 1991, an 18-year-old Mary walked into Uptown Records with a voice too raw for R&B. And too soulful for hip-hop. That contradiction became the blueprint for her breakout album, What's the 411? A record that didn't just introduce a new voice. It introduced a new language of pain over hip-hop drums. Songs like Real Love weren't just hits. They were confessions, someone begging for something they'd never been taught to expect. Producers heard pain with rhythm, vulnerability with swagger. A voice that wasn't performing emotion, it was surviving it. But innovation isn't free. And creating a new sound meant standing alone in an industry that didn't know where to place her. Hip-hop was too rough. R&B was too smooth. Mary, she was both a confession wrapped in a beat. When it finally clicked, she became something the world had never seen. The queen of hip-hop soul. But here's what no one talks about. You cannot hold a crown that heavy without your hands shaking. Because Mary wasn't just singing pain. She knew it. Her second album, My Life, proved it. It wasn't just her darkest era, it was her masterpiece. Songs like Be Happy sounded like someone trying to outrun their own shadow. While My Life was the sound of a young woman whispering her truth into a storm. Behind the scenes, she was battling childhood trauma. Fame without emotional armor. And an industry that demanded vulnerability on command. Every time someone said, "Mary, your music saved me," she was still trying to save herself. The crown wasn't resting on her head. It was sitting on a wound. There was a moment, fans know this era well, when her career was exploding but her life was imploding. The voice was flawless. The smile was rehearsed. But behind the scenes, a storm of toxic relationships, addiction and self-destruction dressed as coping. Her music during this period, songs like Not Gone, Cry, carried the ache of someone living two different lives. One public, one burning in private. Most stories end here with tragedy. But Mary didn't. Because she hadn't just invented a genre. She had a reason to survive it. At her lowest point, she did something most legends never do. She reinvented herself, not her sound. She confronted the pain she'd been singing for years. She chose clarity over collapse. This transformation didn't happen in a moment. It happened through the fight to stay alive long enough to heal. She realized her music wasn't healing the pain, it was recycling it. Every album a confession, every confession reopening the same wound. So she asked for help. Therapy. Faith. Truth-telling. It was not glamorous. There were days the bottle called louder than recovery. But she kept going for the girl inside her who had survived everything except comfort. And then slowly the music shifted too. Her 2001 album, No More Drama, wasn't a title. It was a declaration. The song, Family Affair, didn't just encourage people to dance. It announced that Mary had stepped into a new kind of strength. The darkness stopped being the narrator. She became the narrator. Albums like The Breakthrough carried a different kind of fire. Songs like Be Without You weren't about surviving pain. They were about choosing love, choosing self-worth, choosing a future. She wasn't singing from the wound anymore. She was singing from the scar. And when she rose, the music rose with her. Now, when we call her the queen of hip-hop soul, we're not talking about charts or trophies. We're talking about endurance, reinvention, and the courage it takes to turn suffering into power. Mary J. Blige didn't just open a door for a generation of artists. She built the hallway, brick by brick, pain by pain, until others could walk through it freely. The crown didn't break her. It refined her. So yes, she earned the title. But she also paid for it. Now the question is, which artist should we uncover next, and what hidden cost did they pay for greatness? Comment below and let's keep opening the stories the world forgets to tell.